This might be the first time that a camera this small has made me excited to shoot again. In this video, we're unboxing it, setting up the camera, and even checking out some of the cool pre-order bonuses here. And I can tell you, there are certain surprising things that I found out that you would also find out as well. But first, hi, I'm Captain Awesome. This is Geekception. I do long form, very in-depth videos here. If that's something that interests you, make sure you hit that subscribe button, support me if you can. And let's get into the XHalf, baby. All right, so it comes in this Fujifilm box. And on getting into that big box, we see the Fujifilm XHalf box here. It comes in a really, really tiny box. I'll show you the scale compared to other boxes, but let me put this aside quickly. And it also comes with a pouch for the XHalf, which is a nice pouch. I thought it would be much higher quality. It doesn't look like a high quality pouch. We'll get to this again later. And lastly, it comes with a 128 gigs Lexar card, which is nice that this is included in the box. This is definitely nice for the pre-order bonus that you get there. And lastly is the warranty card. So these are all the things that if you pre-ordered the XHalf right here, you will be getting all of this in the box, which is nice to have. And here for a quick size comparison, you can just see how much smaller the XHalf box is here compared to my Fujifilm X-H2S. Like, this is just no competition. This box is really, really tiny, and I just wanted to give you like a scale of just how small the box is compared to a much bigger camera. All right, taking a look at the XHalf box here, and we have the XHalf image there. We have my serial numbers and all of that, as well as the color. So whatever color you get. For me, I got the chocolate silver anthracite. Is that what it is? I don't know the correct pronunciation, but enough preamble. Getting into the box here, and the first thing I see is, I think, just a document about Fujifilm, if you're importing and all of that. I do not care. I do not care at all. And the next thing here inside the box, I think, is a section itself with the camera. And oh my God, this thing blows my mind at just how tiny it is. Like, look at that. Look at how tiny, like in the next section, I'll compare it to all the phones I have, just so you can know like how ridiculously tiny this is. But let me just put this to the side for a while. Let's go through the box. Let's see what else is here. So here we have the USB-C to 3.5 millimeter cable. Now, because this does not have a, I would say, the 3.5 millimeter audio port, so you will need this if you want to use like external mics and stuff. It's at least nice that Fujifilm gave us that in the box. And the next thing here is the battery. Now, the battery here is the old style battery, and from what I've heard, the battery life is really good. I like it. I'm gonna put that there. And what else did we get in the box here? We get the stoppers. So if you plan to use the strap, I'd say these are some of the stoppers that you will need. That is nice to have there. And there's one more thing here in the box, and I'm trying to dig it out. And that is the strap itself. Yeah, so that is the strap. It's not anything special. I think it's just a very simple strap you can just put there. I think I will put this strap because if we then take a look at the camera itself, let's quickly take a tour around this camera here, as well as put the batteries and everything. Now on the top here, you can see Fujifilm XHalf. Let me just put it like that. You can see Fujifilm XHalf, as well as the cold shoe. So you can remove this and put a thumb grip. I already ordered the small rig accessories for it. It's not come yet, but when that comes, that'll be interesting to put there. You also have the thumb winder here, which when it's off, you cannot really do anything. We'll get to that later, as well as your exposure compensation dial and your power button right at the top there. Moving on to the back of the camera here, and we get the optical viewfinder. You can see there it has no digital display. We get the secondary display here for film simulations. We'll get to that in a while, and your main primary display there. We also get the buttons at the back here. So you have your still button, movie button, as well as your play button there to be able to get into your photos that you've taken. which is fantastic. Going to the bottom of the XHalf, and we get a tripod mount at the bottom there, as well as the battery door, which flips open like that. And I think we put the battery in this side, if I am correct. No, the other side. Okay, put the battery in on this side, and it locks in there like that, which is super helpful. And then we close the door here, and boom, we have the battery in. Going to the left side of the camera here, and we have a flash button. So if you switch this up here, you can be able to turn on the flash. You switch that down, you turn off the flash. And finally, I think this should be the USB-C port on the bottom there. I like that it has a door, so you're not going to lose it. Now, this is where you're going to be charging the device, because it comes with no charger in the box. So you're going to be charging it with USB-C or using that adapter if you want to use a mic with this camera. Now, going to the front of the XHalf here, and we have this cover. I saw it on videos, and it's very annoying to just have it like dangling like that. So I think this is the first thing that I will be removing, because I cannot take this just dangling all around like this. I cannot. So I'm going to be removing that. But up front here, we see the lens. It's an f2.8 lens, and we also see the lever to be able to control your aperture here, which you do by pulling it up or pulling it down like that. So very nice and easy, though I've heard some complaints online about it being maybe a bit too easy to hit sometimes, but I will find out for myself. And that's pretty much it for a tour around the XHalf. Popping back the battery door here, because I do not forget the most important part of a new camera, which is just putting in the SD card. So I'm just going to do that right now. And yes, with the SD card slotted in, we are ready to go. Well, almost. Because like I said, I really cannot take this dangly thing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove it here. So this is the lens cover thing that was included in the box. And it's nice that Fujifilm puts this in the box. You don't have to buy anything extra, but this is just not for me, and I'll be getting rid of that. So it's a lot more cleaner here, as you can see. Now we can boot up this fine baby right here. And something that is unexpected here is still just the size. It's small. We all know this is a small camera, but still it feels even smaller. It's not the most comfortable in the hand to hold. I already knew that, so I bought the small rig, which will help hold this better, the small rig accessories for the XHalf, I mean. So that will be, I think, shipping next month. Is going to take a while, no worries. But overall, I would say this feels really, really good. And for a quick first impressions of the camera body, I'll definitely tell you that if you have bigger hands like myself, it is quite uncomfortable to hold one-handed. As you can see, I'm holding it in like this claw grip right here. It's not the most, I would say, comfortable to hold, to be honest, but we knew that already. This is a really tiny camera. When I held it, it felt so plastic and so cheap, but on holding it here, it doesn't feel as plastic as it felt on the show floor. And also, this Film Advance lever, that's another thing we'll get to. I have so many thoughts about that Film Advance lever right there. But the materials, I love that I went with this color. Now, of course, it comes in 3 different colors, but I like this chocolate silver here. I always go for the silver one if I can, but I just couldn't pass up this chocolate silver right here. It just looks so good. And when it comes to the buttons, of course, feel quite solid. There's a switch here, the still to movie switch right here. That also has a very nice tactile feel to it as well, which is super nice. The exposure, I would say compensation here at the top feels rather solid as well. Though one criticism I have for this is it's quite difficult to know what number you are. Like, I guess I have to pay very close attention, because there is no indicator that, okay, this is at 0, for example, right? So am I at 0 or -1? I don't know. Maybe when I turn it on, I'll be able to find out. But when it just comes to this, I really like it. Compared to my other Fujifilm camera, so I'm currently shooting on my XH2S. I cannot show you that, but when you look at it with my XS20 right here, you can see it definitely is not the same aesthetic, because this is a different kind of body for Fuji. It's not their rangefinder style. This is more of like a DSLR style kind of a camera, compared to this one, which is more of like that rangefinder X100 6 and all that. So the vibe is still, I would say, pretty similar. I would not be confused confused if I woke up and I used this and then I switched to this, for example. So the vibe is definitely very similar here, and it is quite pocketable. It is very small. I will have a footage on screen right now of me putting it into my pocket. It's very, very pocketable, and yeah, this is one that is definitely what I intended it for, which is to have a camera I can bring everywhere with me without having to worry about anything. Okay, so something I've always wondered when I see all of the images online is how does this actually look next to my iPhone? And since I have a lot of phones here, let me just quickly do a comparison. So this is my iPhone 16 Pro Max right here, and if you see it, it absolutely is so much smaller than my iPhone 16 Pro Max. So if we just look at the size comparison there, this is so much smaller than the iPhone 16 Pro. In fact, I think it's almost half the size of the 16 Pro Max, as you can see. So this is a very small phone. Next phone I have here is the Pixel 9a. So now this is a very small phone, but even though this phone is quite small, you can see that the XHalf is even still smaller than the phone here, and this is crazy because for comparison, this is how the Pixel 9a looks next to the iPhone. So yeah, this is a really small phone compared to the I would say iPhone. I cannot find my words, but it's still much bigger. Next is the Galaxy A56, a nice mid-range phone from Samsung, and as you can see, it still is much bigger than the Fujifilm XHalf right here. This is a really, really tiny camera. As you can see, it's insane how small it is. Let's keep it going quickly. Next is the Pixel 9 Pro XL, Google's flagship phone. As at this moment, we look at the size comparison as well, and boom, this is really tiny compared to the Pixel 9 Pro XL. That is insane. And finally, the Samsung S25 Ultra, which is Samsung's flagship phone. We put the XHalf next to it right there, and boom, the XHalf is still so much smaller than this phone, almost as wide, and this is quite a very wide phone, but still it's so much smaller here. So if you were wondering how the XHalf compares to all the popular devices, or if any of your devices here, then you have to wonder no more. All right, now finally going to the moment of truth. Let's turn this on for the first time here, and I hope we have enough battery. We do, yes. So when we turn this on right here, let me just get my focus under control there so it's not jumping everywhere. We have the language selector. As you can see on the main screen there, you can select your languages, and if you're wondering what languages they are, so there's English, French, Deutsch, Espanol, Portuguese, Italian, Dutch, Russian, and all the other languages here. So let me know if you see your language particularly here, but yes, there's definitely like a lot of languages for you to select. So it's not like as if it's only English and Japanese or something. No, I think this is quite inclusive in the languages that you have. And you can see on the second screen here, you can tap OK, which is what I will do here. And boom, now we are here. And then the next thing is to select my time zone. So I'll just select my time zone real quick. And then the next thing here is to add the date and time so that all the metadata is correct. And I don't know about you, but the correct way to do date format is date, month, and year. Argue in the comment, American. And let's just quickly set the date real quick. And after setting it, the first thing I noticed is that I definitely struggled a bit with the touchscreen. I'm not sure if it's how I'm sitting, but we'll come back to that later. And the next thing here is to install the XHalf app. So I can easily transfer the images, and I'm just going to quickly do that. So I'll grab my phone, my iPhone right here, and let's just scan this right here, the QR code. So I'm just going to quickly scan it, and I'm just going to download the XHalf app right here. So we'll come back to this later. I just wanted to, get this off of my screen, but I'm just going to tap OK for now. Next, we see a way to enable activity record, which is transferring all of the metadata and activities to your phone. I use this on my other Fujifilm cameras as well. So I will turn that on here, and I will add location location for the record as well, because I wanted to use my phone to get location. And after I'm done with that, I'll tap OK. And then the next setting here is auto power off temperature. So I suggest you set this to high so that the phone has a much higher threshold before it overheats. And when you tap that, it will give you this warning about, you know, it being so hot and all of that. But I think it's fine. Most of the Fujifilm cameras I've used have been fine so far. I'm just going to tap OK there. And yeah, we then get a on-screen tutorial here about the film camera mode, which I cannot wait to try, especially when I go on photo walks and I just have that as my photo walk companion. I'll tap OK here. And I'll tap OK here as well. Looking at the menus here, and the menu is, as you can see, you can pull it up by just swiping from the bottom. Now that doesn't always work, as you can see. It's not very responsive, but a tip I found is instead of swiping directly on the screen, you swipe almost from outside the screen. And I think most of the time it works from outside the screen. So you can start from like at the plastic part right here. That's just something I found from just continuously pressing this right now. And if I swipe on the right here, you can get your quick exposure shooting settings such as exposure, your image size, and self timer as well. And if you swipe left, you get to select the mode. So whether you want the film simulation mode, which is where you get all of this on the left here, or you get filters, which is where you can then change all of the filter effects, such as, you know, the toy camera, your expired film, and halation, miniature, and you know, all this settings here, which I'm just going to go back to film simulation real quick. And there are, I don't remember how many exactly. Is it 13 film simulations here? But the favorite that I found, you know what, let's just quickly go through it. Let's just go to the beginning. So there's Provia, there is, well, that was fast. There is Velvia, there's Astia, there is Fuji Classic Chrome, which is FCC. There is Reala Ace, which is nice that this is here. There's Classic Negative as well, Nostalgic Negative, Eterna, Acros, and you get the different Acros modes there. So if you tap on Acros there, you can change to red, green, or blue, or yellow, and sepia before we now go back to Provia. So my favorite here that I found is actually Nostalgic Negative, which is what I use on my bigger Fuji cameras anyway. So Nostalgic Negative is my favorite film simulation here on the Fujifilm XHalf. And the responsiveness, again, when I tried it in person the first time, it looked and felt very slow. But one thing I have noticed here is that it's not very slow. But again, responsiveness, it's a hit or miss. I thought I got it right with just swiping from the bottom. And you see now that I'm talking about it, suddenly it's working. And now it's not working again. But responsiveness definitely can be a problem here. What excites me here about this camera is just the simplicity. You know, it has no raw, what you see is what you get. So, you know, when you take a photo, you cannot think too much about it. If it's not the right one, take another photo. I think that's one of the things here. And in just my limited tests, I will, you know, put some of the photos I've been taking here on my table. I noticed that white balance seems to play a lot in how good the images turn out. So if I go to auto white balance here, and let's say I try taking a photo, I have my AirPods Max here, and if I try taking a photo here, and let me just take a photo, right? So I just took a photo, I'll put that on the left side here, and then I go into the settings here and I change the white balance, and let's change it to 4600 here. And let me now take another photo as well. And you can see, thanks to Movie Magic, those photos side by side. And I think the one taken at the right white balance just looks better, I would say. No, that is not that photo. Yeah. So I would say it looks better than the one that was taken on auto. So I think there'll be a lot here in just setting your manual white balance. But yeah, all of this excites me to dive even more into this, to use this as much as I can. And if you wonder what the Film Advanced Lever does is, you know, you can take a photo, and then when you swipe that, it gives you the ability to make a diptych, which is 2 photos side by side. I'm not going to do that now because I want to show you something here, which is that when you plug this in to charge, and I really have to do that because the battery is almost dead here, you get the light showing up here, so that's how you know that it's charging. And yeah, overall I would say the software experience, I'm still finding out so many things here about this camera. If you look at the display there, so let me just quickly turn it off, you can see there are smudges on the display just from me swiping this, so I can imagine that I will clean this a lot. And also on the eye cup here, I can also see that my eyes have actually stained this, and I also imagine I'll clean that a lot, so that's not great. When it comes to the flash, there is a flash here, and everybody is mad that it's not the xenon flash and whatever. I don't care so much. I think a flash is a flash for now. Who knows if that opinion will change later. But yeah, my first impressions here of the interface and just, you know, turning this on and using it is it's not very fast in turning on, as you can see. So if I turn this off there, it's fast in turning off, but if I turn it on again, yeah, I can definitely imagine that I will miss shots if I'm trying to turn this on quickly, take a shot. I'm definitely going to miss shots. So this is not for, you know, ultra fast street photography where you want to get all the shot. I don't think this will perform well. So you have to temper your expectations there when it comes to just the speed of this. But yeah, let's move on to the app, which I really want to try. And taking a look at the XHalf app for the, well, XHalf. In the settings there, of course, you have the ability to update your camera firmware, which I got a firmware, and I updated the firmware as well, which is great. And you can also, you know, change the theme and all of that. I'm not going to go into all of that. So what I did was actually just transferred some photos I've taken here, some test shots in the studio, and this is how it's going to look here on the display. So it's going to display everything here. And something I quite like here is if you tap on information here, you actually get the ability to see what camera settings you use. And if you have, like, let's say maps metadata, but yeah, you actually get the ability to get that as well here in your view, which is just the maps view of where you took the photo. You can rate the photo here as well. And I think if you rate it on the camera itself, you can see that rating show up here, which is pretty cool. So yeah, this is how the app is. It's pretty, I think, basic, but in the way that is nice. And then you can select 2:1. So in case you don't want to use that Film Advanced lever here, you can actually just select that 2:1. You select the first image here, you tap on the second one, you select the second one. I think you can also change your border, a dividing line here at the bottom. Let's say it is color, let's make it white. Let's make the width, let's make it narrow, and let's go to type, and we can select how many type. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you click done there, and it processes the 2-in-1, and this is definitely much faster than it will do it on the XHalf itself. So I think I'm going to be using it here on the app than I will be using it on the camera itself. But yes, it's super cool. The app is nice. You update your firmware and you get all of the cool features. And yeah, I think when the camera goes into sleep mode there, it disconnects. If I tap on it, let's say, let's turn that back on. Well, I don't know if it's going to resume from sleep. So let me just turn it off and turn it on again to see how long it's going to take. But I think it's probably going to take a while to connect. So the Bluetooth connection, as you can see, is not instant. When you turn on the camera here, it doesn't instantly connect. It does take a while. Yeah, then it connects. So it takes about, I would say, 10 to 15 seconds in total for you to, you know, connect there. So in case you wondered, that is it. Let's move on. Looking at the pre-order bonuses here quickly, and this feels a bit cheap, the pouch here, but let me just open it so you see how it actually looks like on the inside. So when you look at the pouch there, it opens up here where I think you can then put the XHalf, and it sits very nicely into the pouch right there. And you even have, I think, is this space for a cable? Yes, I think this is space for a SD card, so you can put an SD card into here. And can you put a cable? I suppose you can put a cable inside here with the in the pouch with your XHalf, but I would not suggest it. Maybe it will, you know, scratch or something. And then there's like a buckle here, which I guess you can, you know, put this to your bag. So if you have a backpack like I do, do, you can just clip this to your bag there, and you have a way to like have your belt if you are going really boomer like, and you have a way to pretty much be able to have it there. I have no idea what this Velcro is. Maybe I can also use it to attach it to a bag, but yeah, it doesn't feel like it has the most protection, to be honest. If I look at it, it does have some padding here, but I would say maybe consider getting something a bit more. It's nice that it's included, and I definitely will use it if I need to, you know, chuck my camera in my bag, but I think I'll be getting a replacement as soon as I can. The SD card here, I already have a lot of SD cards, but it's a nice bonus that it's 128 gigs, and it's actually not slow, right? It's not the fastest. It's not a UHS 2, which is usually what the fast cards are. It's a UHS 1, but it is fast enough, especially for a camera of the XHalf's caliber, which is not a very fast camera anyway. So this is nice. This is surprising that it's here. So this is definitely a good one there. And that's pretty much it for the pre-order bonus. Now, wrapping up this video here, who is this camera actually for? And would you trust this as a main camera or just a sidekick? And I'll definitely say this camera is a huge sidekick. I am not throwing away my main cameras anytime soon. In fact, the camera I'm shooting on now is my big kahuna. You know, I have another secondary camera here. So this camera is my fun camera. It's a camera that I would love to use everywhere. You know, I put it in my pocket, I'm ready to go. And yeah, it's not meant to be a main camera at all. And I think this is where most of the pro photographers that are, you know, slagging off this camera and, you know, saying all sorts of, you know, things that will probably get me banned from YouTube here about this camera. I think this is where they miss the point, right? Because this camera is not made to do all of those things great. It's just made to be a fun experience. I'm still trying to figure out how to turn it back on when it goes into sleep mode here. I'm not quite sure. It goes into sleep mode pretty often. I would love to turn that off. That doesn't look great, but anyway, I would love to hear your thoughts about this. This has been a long video already, but as much as possible, if I've taken extra photos, I'll be putting them on screen right now for you to see. But yeah, I definitely love this. You know, I ordered this on day one. I got this really quickly, I think in less than a month, 3 weeks and about 5 days. So I'm pretty pleased with how long it took for them to ship it, because they had been saying it will take about 3 months, I'm saying. So I'm glad I got it here at the time I did. And yeah, let me know what your thoughts are, and let's just close this video. Now, if you're thinking of getting the XHalf, or you already have, and you have more questions that I did not answer in this, oh my God, very long video, please make sure you leave that in the comments down there below. And I'm sure the only person checking this out is if you're actually interested in this. I'm sure the hate and hate hype has died down now. So the true lovers are here. I love that you made it all the way to the end of the video. I really appreciate you. I cannot wait to just go out and start taking photos with this. This is an absolutely fantastic camera, and I'm so happy and blessed that I get to experience the pinnacle of what technology has to offer in such a small body here. But yes, thank you so much. I've been your captain of awesome. This is Geekception. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe if this is what you like here. And you know, I have links to my PayPal, becoming a member here, or Patreon is one way to support me for all I do here on the channel. I really appreciate that. But even more important than that, make sure you text me so I know you got home safe. And watch out for tapirs. They are quite big. They look deceptively small on images, but they're really big. So we don't want to be hitting that endangered animal. And I'll catch you in the next one. Don't forget to stay awesome. Bye. And thank you for making it all the way to the end of the video. Now I'm recording this with the Fuji XHalf, so the video quality is not the best. I know, I actually don't know how this is going to look. I don't even know how it's going to sound as well. But thank you for making it all the way to the end of this very long video. And I'm experimenting here where I'm not cutting it short, because I also know that I'm not optimizing for people who want to watch it in 5 minutes, right? Like, it's for me, someone who is obsessed with this camera, and maybe they don't have their hands on it, or they have it in their hands and they're watching and they're like, I want to see every bit of this experience by someone else, which is what I love to do as well, just as a pastime, right? So thank you for making it all the way to the end of the video. Leave a comment with hashtag half gang, so I know you made it all the way to the end. But yes, I really appreciate you. I've really got to go now, but I look forward to all the future XHalf videos that I'll be making. All right, so take care of yourself. Bye.